A thing that initially even drew me to your channel in the first place was you can see professional experience being brought to YouTube, but in a really personable, like personality-driven way. I traveled to San Jose, California, where I spent a few days getting a very cool inside look at SAP Center and the San Jose Sharks. It was a weekend that they had back-to-back games, so a game on Saturday, a game on Sunday, and I can't even. What's pretty incredible is that it all happened because 7 years ago I bought a Rodecaster. And actually, it's just that Rodecaster right there, the original Rodecaster Pro. That was the thing that gave my YouTube channel a huge sense of direction because I was so excited for the Rodecaster. It was a very new thing. Lots of other people were excited about it. And through that helped my channel grow, which has also helped me to meet a lot of incredible people over the years, some of whom have become really good friends. And Brody from the clip at the beginning of this video falls into that category because it was honestly an interest in microphones that made us both aware of the other's channel. And then, you know, during the pandemic, kind of got to talk a little bit and became internet friends. And not only is he a great YouTuber, but he's also a professional broadcaster with a whole host of impressive accomplishments. But I was largely unaware of his sports connection until our area got an American Hockey League team several years ago. That is the league right below the NHL. So AHL teams feed into NHL teams. When we got our team, I became a huge fan. Ours feeds into the Seattle Kraken. That's why I've got my Kraken stuff right here. That also got me interested in learning to skate and learning to play hockey.
Oh, you need the fast lane.
So fast.
And now I've played hundreds and hundreds of games as a goalie, and I've taken all these classes. It's become a bit of an obsession. And over that time, for just a lot of reasons, the San Jose Sharks have, you know, earned a very special place in my heart, and pretty safe to say that's my favorite team at this point. But just by sheer coincidence, the person who I connected with because of microphone videos and Rodecaster stuff and live streaming things officially works with the San Jose Sharks. And so he'd been saying for a long time, if you ever come up to San Jose, you come to a game, see how things work. And finally I decided to just go for it. And I've got my official passes right here. So I was able to take photos. I got to not just take photos, I got to be like, with the Sharks, they have a big shark head that comes down from the ceiling that the players skate out at the beginning of the game. I got to be like inside that as they're going out taking photos. I got to take photos from the player bench, which I didn't even realize because it's all a maze. So I was amazed because I was just kind of wandering, and suddenly I was like at this part taking photos, and I looked over and I realized I'm on the actual bench. At one point I was in the locker room with the team trying to act as if that's a very normal thing for me, and just I got to meet Sharky, who's been on my wall for a while now, SJ Sharky. Mascot Hall of Famer, SJ Sharky. Maybe I can move over here. There we go, make some room. Let's do a quick little slideshow here. Just, you can go with the photos on my phone with me. SAP Center. So this banner they've had, I think this is a cool photo. I've seen this on TV and I really love the way they did these photos. But in the front and center there is Yaroslav Askarov, one of the Sharks goalies, who I really love, and I've actually gotten to see him on several teams. I saw him play with the Milwaukee Admirals, saw him play with the San Jose Barracuda, saw him as an AHL All-Star, and now got to see him in the NHL with the Sharks, which is very cool. He's amazing. Here's one of the photos where I realized I was on the bench, and you can kind of see the bench to the right over here, and then you can actually see the shoulder here is Drew Remenda, who's one of the Sharks announcers, and he does a lot of camera bits from right here. Got to see the Sharks superstar Macklin Celebrini, who was a number1 NHL draft pick 2 seasons ago and has been like a cornerstone in turning the team around. And currently they're in a playoff spot. I got to have fun and just sort of take, action shots and photos and things. That's a cool looking photo. Found Sharky in the audience being a firefighter at this point in time. Also got to do fun stuff like really check out goalie gear, like how Ned ties his toe ties, because it's confusing to put on hockey gear. So if you can take any tips from the pros, that's a fun thing to do. I got to watch some of the game from up where some of the cameras are up high. These are sold out, 20,000 people games. I spend most of my time here. I'm one person. I spend most of my time in here making videos and talking to myself. And that's, the majority of where I use my cameras and stuff. To be in a place with 20,000 people getting to enjoy it, but also getting to still, use my cameras, take some photos, do some video stuff. I do love that after the intro, the shark head just sort of hangs uncovered in the rafters, and so there's a photo of it just hanging out there. On the Sharks YouTube channel, Brody does a recap, Brody's breakdown video after each game, so I got to be there while he and Drew, the other announcer, filmed that, which was just, watching people who are really good at what they do it really well, like do the entire thing in one take, but have insights, remember very specific moments throughout the game. It's just, there's Sharky again, holding the flag because the Sharks won. He did like 6 wardrobe changes during this game. Very impressive. Oh, also the hotel I stayed at a Town Suites, which is kind of like a Residence Inn, and they had that golden waffle. You pour the waffles and do the things. Pro tip, if they have that, and if they have an oatmeal bar, they probably have chocolate chips. You take the chocolate chips, you put them in the waffle batter, and then you make your chocolate chip waffle. It's good breakfast. Here's one of the cameras that was shooting from up high. Look at this lens on this camera. This is a 9 to 690 millimeter lens. 9 to 690. This is my biggest lens. This is 70 to 200. 9 to 690. Going around SAP Center was really cool. Got to get some souvenirs from Heather. Got some cool stuff. Even got this thing back here. Fun must be always. We got to take a photo on the ice. I got to step on the ice, which is so cool because when you see all the things happening on the ice and the players that you like, not just from the Sharks, but from other teams when they're visiting, you're like, I was on that exact ice. I was there. And now they're there. And that's cool. And then there was this very overlooked stool right here. So SAP Center is set up very uniquely. So if we look at this wide photo here and I zoom in, you can see both teams. There's the Sharks on the left. In this case, it was the Dallas Stars on the right here. There's a tunnel. That's where I was taking photos at during warm-ups. That goes back to the Sharks locker room. Normally, at a lot of arenas, there will be another tunnel like that on the other side of the visiting team, and it'll go to the visiting team's locker room. SAP Center is a little different. The visiting team's locker room is on the other side. So what that means is there's no room for the person who's the backup goalie that day to be on the team bench like normal. They have to be on the other side of the ice kind of by themselves. So in this case, Jake Ottinger was backing up for Casey DeSmith for the Stars, and he just kind of has to sit there by himself. So that brings me back to this very important stool right here. Like every goalie in the NHL has at one point sat on this stool pretty much because they've all been to SAP Center at some point, and most have probably been in the backup position if they've been around for a couple of seasons. Should be in the Smithsonian, this stool right here. And I also did get chomped by SJ Sharkey, and I gave him a bag of peanut butter M&Ms because that's his favorite snack. And I've also become addicted to them thanks to him. So I can tell you that having the shark head up against your head is a very weird but not unpleasant texture and feeling. And then I got to do the main point of this video, which is tour the live broadcast truck, which was absolutely incredible. I ended up using the DJI Pocket 3 because I had the FX3, which would have been better in low light, but I was excited to use this because I think the stability, having to follow things and hold the camera for a long time, even if I had to lower the image quality a little bit, the boost in stability and the ability to just be able to hold this for extended periods of times was really worth it. And then just running 2 microphones directly into this camera's amazing. And it did a great job, and I hope you enjoy all of that. And Brody's gonna be the one taking us on that tour of the truck in a second, and I wanna just thank him again so much for making this possible. And also, just, there's something really unique about his approach, which I really like, and that is oftentimes you see sort of this conflict between traditional media and new media. Sometimes there are people who have been in broadcast for many years, and then YouTube, those YouTubers pop up, and it's sort of like a clash. You shouldn't do things this way. It should be this way, blah, blah, blah. And Brody walks between both worlds so perfectly, like so expertly. He can be on network television, be working for an NHL team, and have every bit of, professionalism and poise that you would expect from that position, and then run his own YouTube channel in a way that is valuable, fun, personable, but still also extremely professional, and then kind of merge the two with, the Sharks on YouTube. And it's really, I think, such a good example of how powerful these mediums are. And when you have a YouTube channel and if you gain an audience on the platform, there's no training for that. You don't really necessarily know how to handle it, what responsibilities come with that. And so seeing somebody take decades of industry experience and apply those to what that looks like when you do that in a really just great way on YouTube is something that I think is really special, something that drew me to Brody's channel to begin with. So to be able to spend time together in person, just hanging out, watching hockey, talking YouTube, all that, was really, really fun. But also just to see him do what he does, to see his workflow, to see some of his process, to just walk around SAP Center and even San Jose and see how many people greet him just as a friend, as if they knew him. I legitimately thought every time someone would say hi, that it was someone he knew. Nope, not at all. Someone they've never met before. But through all the different broadcasts and through the YouTube channel and all the videos, people can feel like they have this connection. And when it's especially over a shared passion like sports, San Jose Sharks, Roadecasters, whatever it might be, microphones, it's a really special thing that it's just never quite been possible. So hopefully that like encapsulates a little bit of the just excitement that I still can't believe this is a thing that I got to do and that got to happen. And I hope you enjoy this tour. So let's head out to San Jose. I'm at SAP Center, home of the San Jose Sharks, where I've been lucky enough to get a pretty insane behind the scenes look at everything that goes into bringing a pro hockey game to life, both in the arena and on what you see broadcast live. So today, I'm happy to wear my teal as I tell you more about it. Actually, I have the perfect person to help me explain what's in this giant monstrosity right here, which is no doubt quite expensive.
Very expensive.
Brody Brazil.
Hi.
If you're unfamiliar with Brody Brazil, he is who I want to be when I grow up.
I want to have some Tom Buck jokes, some dad jokes when I grow up too. I actually steal your dad jokes.
That's fine. They're cheap. They only cost $1. I mean, your jokes are more expensive. They cost like $1 Brazilian.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, we're never gonna get this going.
We're Brazil nuts over here, aren't we?
So I like audio video production.
Yes.
I have a YouTube channel. You like audio video production, you have a YouTube channel. But again, as the person I want to be when I grow up, you also have a decades-long multi-Emmy award-winning career in broadcasting.
Yeah.
I took flight training as a student pilot.
Yeah.
You're a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
We're basically the same person, and I think people may not even believe that we're actually standing here side by side. Like this is a hologram situation.
I feel like there's a little
you're
bit.
Real. You're real.
I am real, but I'm also a little real. I like hockey.
Yeah.
Play hockey. Sometimes take some photos, make some hockey videos.
I'm definitely not a goalie. I will never step into those shoes, skates, or pads.
Quite weird enough for that. But you're the official content creator for the Sharks, for the San Jose Sharks.
Got a few different roles and obligations. Yeah. Been covering the team for 17 years, but I'm about a year into working actually for the team. I used to work with the team for the network, now for the team directly. It's been great. This is the hockey team in this arena that I grew up watching since 1993. First game here in this first year of the building, so it's super special to work for the team.
I can attest. The vibe here is very special.
The vibes are back these days too, which also helps.
This giant thing right here,
which actually two of them, Tom. You want, like literally side by side,
double side by side. So this is home team, San Jose Sharks.
Yes.
This is today's visiting team, Vegas Golden Knights.
Correct.
And we're gonna go inside, and you're gonna help me figure out how a live hockey broadcast happens.
Yeah.
I'm assuming more than an A10 Mini and a Stream Deck.
My YouTube channel, your YouTube channel, like they're good. Good production.
Cute.
Good picture quality. But what we're doing in here is a tens of millions of dollars operation and equipment, and the versatility of these production trucks is amazing. They can do a hockey game tonight, and a basketball game tomorrow, and a baseball game when that season comes, and a football game, and if you link enough of these up, you can do a Super Bowl. So like the expandability, the flexibility, I think that's the amazing part, is that they don't just do hockey games, they do everything. And the way that the ultimate product comes out looking, when all the graphics and videos are played back and the cameras are shaded the right way, what you're watching in true HD, and really this produces it in 4K.
That's crazy.
It doesn't necessarily broadcast it in 4K because of the pipeline, but if you sit in here and watch the resolution of a game, you're just blown away. Like, it's uncompressed. It is It is as high quality as it's ever going to get, for now.
Let's go check that out
Let's do it.
So what are we looking at?
This is the San Jose Sharks production truck. This handles all of the game broadcasts, and it's pretty typical for a sports production environment. This truck literally roams around the region of Northern California. Sometimes, though, it might be sent to Southern California or a different state. So it doesn't just do Sharks games. Typical control room setup here for like anything you'd see typically in television, where there's a technical director who sits in front of the switcher here. This time it's a Grass Valley switcher, sometimes it's a Sony switcher. The director will sit here. The director is calling for all the different camera changes or wipes and replays and graphics to be inserted, or to count down the broadcast to a break, to obviously work with the producer who sits to the left of the director. The producer is here to really control the storytelling of the game. Hey, we want to talk about this. The producer is here on the RTS, the intercom system, with the game announcer and the analyst of the game, trying to give them a heads up of what replays you're going to see or what do you want to see. The announcers have the ability to hit a button, a talkback button, and talk directly to the producer so that they're not on air anymore, so that if you want to tell the producer, hey, can I see that replay one more time, the producer can tell the director can obviously arrange that with video and replay, which we'll see in just a second. And then when I come visit, I sit way off here to the side, just get out of—
That's a very special chair.
Yeah, get out of everybody's way. But you can see here the wall of screens. Now, here in 2025, this is a nice array of flat panels, but back when I started, these used to be big CRT monitors, and it was big and bulky, so it's nice to be able to program this however you want. There's all the different replay angles here, all the different camera angles. There's a screen of NHL stats that are especially provided to the truck. And obviously program is front and center, so what is going out on the air is also pretty important.
Now I'm curious, do you offhand know how many cameras there are?
Oh, on a given night, so it changes, right? I would say the minimum, and here's the other thing. 2 trucks. This is the Sharks production truck. Tonight playing the Golden Knights. So there's a Las Vegas truck right next to this.
It's very glittery and glamorous.
It's different in there. There's a disco ball in there. Yeah. Just kidding. But there's a shared amount of resources. So like we both don't need a high center ice camera, right? So you can share that one. Mm-hmm. So I would say at the minimum, there's probably 5 to 6. But then on some nights, and if it's a special game or a playoff game, you might have 12. Not to mention, there used to be net cams robotically. Yeah. There are now robo cams above the top of the inboard. So it depends. It varies. There's never a set amount, but I would say the minimum I would think is at least 6, if not 7.
Okay, honestly, I thought it was going to be like 48 or something.
Ask an expert. Well, no, but like on a Super Bowl, for example, when they say there's like 75 cameras, like there are 75 cameras. We also have, and I should have explained this too, if there's 7 cameras, there's the ability sometimes for a handheld camera to be on the ice during the game, ringside, and then unplug, and then go set up, change, and go set up outside the dressing room to shoot the coaches.
So the one camera has two
purposes, 2 locations, cool. 2 purposes. So it's not as if every position has to be, with a person there. Right. That person can move and change spots.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We've got our Atari controllers.
Yeah. So. This one right here, this camera control happens to be, and I know what this is because we've used it for years, we have a camera inside the dressing room. Now, we certainly only use that at the appropriate times and at the approved times, but it's a really cool shot that can be used going to commercial break to see the guys going in.
I've always wondered, like,
so it's works, very, obviously very controlled. That is a very, from a strategic sense, from an intrusion sense, but that's why it's so well done, because there's a cooperation and understanding of, hey, here's when you can do it, and here's how we do it, and there's a lot of rules, right? And everybody follows the rules on that, and it's great. So the producer has control over, hey, turning, like for example, the camera right now is shooting against the wall.
Okay.
So when you're in that room right now, there's no camera looking down on you. It's a PTZ, so pan, tilt, zoom. So it's pointed away from the room so that everybody knows. Okay, kind of like your camera. It's pointed at me, but if it were pointing the other way.
If you want to see something less interesting, it can point this way.
I'm not on camera right now, which makes me feel like a lot, more safe. Anyway, that's what that is. But then here, this is a router panel, and I don't want to push any of the buttons because I don't want to change anything of the preferences. But those green buttons right here, you can route to selected monitors. Like if you want to see something different, you can have the ability to have pretty much any input that comes into this truck on a router panel you can dial it up and look at it right in front of you. So any raw feed, any camera feed, anything specifically, you can have a closer view if you want to see that. Our director, ready one, take one, ready three, take three, ready blue, wipe to blue. So they're hearing all that as it goes on. But if the producer wants to talk to you directly, or producer wants to talk to our announcer Randy or our analyst Drew, there's buttons here for that. You push them down, you get to talk to them. The switcher is extremely intimidating, obviously.
But you know what every button does.
Well, I know there's a couple layers of MEs up here, right? There's a couple mix effects layers, and I know that right now camera 10 or input 10 is on the air, but no, I'm not touching this. I'm staying a good 2 feet away on purpose. But I think the cool thing is about this is that we have so many TDs in the area, and they can all come in and instantly have their settings up here, and it's almost like driving a car, almost like a rental car, where you come in, you drive it, your presets are ready, and in not too much time setting up, you can be ready to do an entire baseball game, or you can configure it however you want it. So the flexibility, that's the thing that amazes me. We have so many talented TDs, but they all come in here and act like they're the only ones that use this, when clearly they're not. And they know all of this inside and out. And obviously routing things is important here, to be able to see the tape replays that are available here. This position, quite honestly though, is really a heads down position, because you can be looking at program and you can be looking at what's on, but really the only thing that matters is the director's calls. Ready 4, take 4, ready 7, take 7, wipe to blue, ready blue, wipe to blue. So it's really a push the buttons that you're hearing versus actually trying to be the one that's heads up and heads down.
So the director is basically overseeing all the components,
Yeah.
seeing how they could best come together, and then the technical director takes care of the nuts and bolts to make it happen visually.
Absolutely. The director's definitely the eyes, and the TD is definitely the ears and the hands. And if you think about it, and on some smaller operations, it's a one-person TD and director.
Yeah, my local news station I worked at.
And this is not automated, right? So in local news and in a lot of studio shows that I've done thousands of shows, but I've done more of them not automated, but in the last 5-7 years, everything's automated. So it's one person here, and the show is laid out, and all they have to do is hit next, 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 and all of this is like a macro that's set up for the next thing, and then the next shot, and then the next. So as a host, you have to follow the structure of the show, and it's pretty much mapped out. So this is obviously This is not automated. This is very much human. But what's also amazing about this is, like, I guarantee, we'll have a clean broadcast because the director and the TD are so well in sync. There's not going to be any bad punches. Rarely does it happen. So
if they weren't in sync, they'd have to go to the back streets and duke it out.
that was that joke had one direction to it.
Oh,
That's a band, right?
I think they were.
I had to get one of those.
Like, you and I are no longer new kids on the block, so we don't know.
Oh, all right. I got to quit right there.
Yeah.
I was trying to quit while I was ahead.
We can keep on trucking through this.
AD usually sits back here timing out the show, working with master control, right? So you think about a broadcast, and although the director is counting you down to break or counting you back from break, your broadcast doesn't go on TV unless it goes to a network's master control. Well, on the flip side, they're the ones playing commercials. That doesn't happen here, so you have to work with the network on when do we go on the air, and everybody's obviously on a hard GPS clock, so everybody's working on the same time frame, but the counting in, the counting out, what break are we in, is the game going to a commercial break, like will the game stop for 2 minutes or whatever the TV break is? We talked about it yesterday. There are set breaks, like an under 16, an under 10, and under 6 break. So, but the question is, like, are we going to break? So the AD is working with the game ops as well as master control to really sync the biggest picture possible of everything. And there's other responsibilities too. I don't want to cut that real short, but there's a lot going on there. Why it's like, assistant, associate director. So that's kind of this position here, just kind of overseeing everything. Another thing that's super critical to a game broadcast, well, two things actually, is like the score bug on the screen. Obviously, some of that is automated through the clock. Like, we don't have our own separate
It seems
start
simple,
and stop.
but I've heard that the score bug is insanely complex.
There's a lot to it.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a lot to it. And I would say that they have they have evolved from simplicity of just show me the two teams' names and the score and the clock to now like, you know, shots, or there's drop down elements of like, hey, did you know this player in this game, how, you know, there's their time on ice, how many shots on goal, or what they're doing, and it's all updated obviously in real time. My point is a lot of it's automated to the point where the information is fed in there, so you don't have to type that in on a whim, but dropping it in, taking it out, you're right, there's a lot more to it. And there's also graphics that we drop in on the broadcast, whether it's like a lower third or a slab that kind of shows, you know, players' accomplishments recently. So graphics operator sits here. I forget the name of the systems have changed over the years. It's now Expression. Chiron is a name. It's like the name Kleenex. It's a brand, but it's what everybody called it for a lot of years. You know, everybody's in sync, right? And for the graphics operator to be ready with a graphic, they have to tell the producer and the director, I've got this for you. You might want to throw this up now. It's relevant. They've got to time it in. So it truly is a symphony. And you know, there's nights where sometimes everybody's just a little bit off sync, right? And things don't play out how they intended, but there's also nights where everybody's just hitting on all cylinders. And I would say more nights happen like that, but it's like playing sports, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you play bad and you still win, sometimes you have an okay night and you just don't feel like you won, you know, but that's the fun of it, right? So.
All right, more screens, more panels.
Yeah, so back here is tape, right? And
tape?
Yeah. Okay. So Tom, your assignment is to show me where any videotape is in this vicinity.
Seen a VCR or beta.
It used to be up above in the racks. Used to be where the quarter-inch and U-matic and beta tape machines were, but obviously that's long changed. This truck, this actual physical truck, has never seen a tape in its entire life. There's no place to put a tape or even an XD cam disc. We used to do XD cam discs for a lot of years, but it's all on hard drive. You know, you think about a sports broadcast, showing it to you live is certainly most important, but what does everybody want to see? 4 different replay angles of the goal that was just scored. So that's what all these positions are. They have the ability to take multiple inputs and also provide multiple outputs. So any one tape operator, you know, might be in charge of, we'll say blue or red or green or yellow, and be able to play back the highlights that obviously just happened. What's amazing here is like, the ability to replay something so quickly, and it just happened, and we want to see the slow-mo angle of it, the real-time angle of it. We want to hear it fully tracked with the NAT sound fully tracked. That's what is simply amazing to me, is how instantly on a dime, you know, the operators here, they know to re-cue something right to the point. That's the other part. What if they re-cued it 10 seconds early? We're waiting for it, we're not seeing it. If you watch replay sequences, it's usually like highlight, celebration, dissolve to the replay, here's the first look at it, dissolve to the next one, here's the second look at it, dissolve to the third slow-mo, dissolve to the reaction, the crowd's going wild, and then dissolve back or wipe back to real time. And you know, that's why a lot of times there's a wipe to a replay, so it kind of gives the viewer the mindset of, okay, we're watching a replay.
The
versus,
transition actually serves a purpose.
The wipe is a conscious and subconscious transition to get you to know that you're watching a replay. Otherwise, sometimes people get confused. They're like, wait, what am I watching here? So, but it is, I would say that, you know, these EVS operators, and that's kind of like a common brand of product that gets used. Several other companies make something like this. Jog shuttle, mark in, mark out, title your clip over there. And then at the end, after you've clipped off, you've labeled and you know, made all your clips that are the most important of a game. Those get saved to a hard drive, and that's basically the melt. So now when we in the future purposes want to go back, and we used to call it a melt because we would put it all on one tape. We'd melt everything onto one tape. Now it's, all right, let's save all these clips, and from here on out, we can use these on a highlight reel or talking about the last time these two teams met. So super cool and efficient that all the clips are made instantly and then they're usable forever. We're here obviously during the cruise break, right? So the console has gone to sleep and I'm not going to touch it to wake it up, but it's a nice, pretty lighted scene when it turns on the CalRec console. I think what's important to understand here about you know, the amount of the different faders here and channels that come in. You have announcer mics, you've got NAT mics, so there's mics on the glass, there's mics in different places in the building to try and get the ambiance of the building itself. We have microphones outside the dressing room, so when a player does an interview, we can track that one. There are ways to group these, right? So you can group all the NATs and kind of set that mix how you want it. And if you want the NATs to go away, you take it up and take it down. This person's also responsible for working with the studio and master control for IFB channels, so that when we do a talk back from the studio to the truck, the phone, that we literally still use the phone as a way to hear, and that's why it's so terrible sounding in your ear, you know, the quality of it, but that's how you hear the studio if you're remote or things like that. Playing music, going to break, all that happens here, like literally off an iPad, touch the iPad and track it and make sure that it's the right cut.
We know what the shenanigans cam is.
You know, that's probably going to be a really, really inside thing that I don't know but knowing the people here, there might be some shenanigans going on there. Yeah, and that's the custom naming of everything, right? So a director that's got a crew that's been working together, they get to name these things. So and it's weird, like we speak the same language, right? So if I know I'm talking about this, I don't know why that's titled that. I really don't. But I can imagine the people involved did it for a specific reason. The audio that comes out of here, I mean, there's a bunch of DBX 160s up here for compression and limiting, and you know, everything is very tightly done here in this. They don't want to have audio fluctuating, but you do have it, right? In a sports event where the crowd goes wild and then the crowd's quiet. You also want to hear the puck moving around.
Yeah, the sound of sticks on the ice, sticks hitting the puck is like
you got to hear
sound,
it, right?
Yeah.
You got to hear it. So there's still a lot. It's not just set it and forget it. But you got to know where everything's at. And I mean, look at how many different things are taped off here. Replay channels and their audio, right? So not just hearing the announcers, but when they're talking about a replay, I want to hear the sound of the replay too. So this is a very difficult hands all over the place type job. There's a lot going on. Camera control units back here where, you know, the camera operator is really only worrying about two things: zooming and focus. All the cameras get shaded here so that the color temperatures all match, right? So that the ice, and we're not playing a game right now, but the ice looks the same white balance here as it does here.
God, white balancing ice is hard.
I mean, could you imagine if they all had to individually do it? It makes no sense. If you were to do it here, you can match them all at the same, you know, shutter speed as well as the same white balance, all the different cameras, and it's, you know, it's typical camera settings here. So there's this one person here is shading cameras. Now, hockey game indoors, light not changing a bunch, great. Baseball game in cloudy and sunny weather when the shadows come in and out, camera operator's nightmare. Yeah. That's a really hard because they're constantly, you know, on the controls, and we've all seen it during a baseball game. You're like, ooh, that looks dark, and then it looks super bright, and then it's back to, and you're just fighting the elements the entire time. So, but yeah, really important job, and obviously all of it. So one person here is sitting in front of all the different camera angles.
That was pretty unreal. Thank you for the very bespoke guided tour. You were just telling me though that the turnaround on these is insane, and not because they can turn corners quickly, but
yeah, it doesn't have a great turning radius. That's why they're backed in, and then they hook the semi truck up to the front, and they pull it straight out of the ramp here and take it on to the next city. But these are used, I would say, 6 days a week. I mean, you know, tonight it'll do a game here. We're in the Bay Area, so that same truck might go do a Warriors game. When it's baseball season, it might go do a Giants game. It might go do a national broadcast of a football game over at Levi Stadium on a Sunday. So they get utilized. I mean, this thing's here now. It could be in Sacramento. It could be in Southern California. It could be up in Portland or Denver. So these trucks only make money when they're doing a game, right. So they want to maximize. There's not a lot of these, so they move them around. They schedule them out very intensely.
Well, I really appreciate the tour. Yeah. The trucks only make money when they're being used. Now they're a little poor because they have one less buck inside of them.
Oh,
there, got it. Bookend it.
All I know is that someday our YouTube channels will have this production capability.
We do a live stream. We got the double. What I do love, though, I gotta say, one, you explaining everything showed just knowledge and experience, because you can only explain that stuff if you actually know it pretty well. But also, if you haven't checked out Brody's channel, please do so. First of all, how dare you? But second, definitely go do that. Especially, a thing that initially even drew me to your channel in the first place was you can see professional experience being brought to YouTube, but in a really personable, like personality-driven way. And it's super special and super unique, and I love it. And also, you're just super good at what you do.
Appreciate that. So, try to always be a professional, as you are too. Try and take the highest road possible. But no, I really appreciate this. And when I grow up, I also want to reach the 100K mark. So
you're gonna reach that like next weekend. You're fine. Yeah. Help him reach that mark. Check it out. And thank you again, Brody. And also, just let's go Sharks.